Okay. Hey everybody. Uh it's Wednesday, 8 o'clock, 8:05. Here we are. I'd like to welcome everybody to Tea Time. I'm Nicholas Xavier. Um Normally, um how I pick my topics for the show is I just wait for things to come to me, stuff I think is important to talk about as far as, trans men go, as you have seen in past shows. And normally I come up with a topic by the day after a show or, at least by day two. Well, last week after the show, nothing was coming to mind. Not a thing. Thursday, Friday, nothing. Saturday, still nothing. And I wasn't gonna press it. I just let it be. And then all of a sudden it hit me. The reason why I couldn't come up with a topic is because it's sitting right in my face. There's only one thing we could possibly talk about, and that's what's going on right now. Um, it's terrible. Like, I really have no words. Well, I have lots of words, but none of them none of them are very nice. I just don't get the blatant disrespect, the not caring, and even when people don't understand, like, it's BS because it's 2020. How can you not understand by now? It's ridiculous. But anyway, I'm gonna bring Malachi on so we could talk, get some jokes going on in here. Well, not probably not, but we're just gonna try and do this thing.
What's
What
up,
up,
good
Mel?
people? What's up, good people? How are y'all doing tonight?
They're doing terrible, man.
Understandable. Understandable.
Yeah,
Understandable.
it's yeah. I don't even know where to start. Hey, I've been racially profiled many times, several times. Um, Mostly in Georgia, I have to say. One time I fit the description of a robbery suspect. Another time they claim they smell weed in my car as I pass by them. In my car with the windows up. Come on. Another time it was your license plate was crooked. Like, are you serious? Then another time it was just for no reason at all, just because. And um, honestly, the only reason why it wasn't like it didn't escalate further, especially the one with the robbery suspect issue, is because at the time I hadn't started transitioning. So when they caught my license has my biological born name on it. And so they're like, oh, it's a woman. So they let me go. So had I been a black man, it would have been an issue. That thought always stays in my mind. It's just wrong, man. Uh,
So, so
yep.
for me,
Hmm.
um, this time is really hard for me. It's an emotional roller coaster right now.
Yeah.
Part of the reason is because as a black trans man, we have gone from being a target to now being a threat to become a target.
Hmm.
Get that? A, we have become a target because people have tried to harm black trans people or trans people in general.
Huh.
So we're a target to violence,
Right.
only to become a threat to people because of our masculinity, because we're men, to be targeted
Right.
as that man.
So you
Uh,
got you got three strikes.
yeah,
You're black, you're trans, and you're a man.
yeah.
Yeah.
And um, it's really hard for me to understand how people have made laws about trans individuals without trans individuals at those tables.
Being involved, correct.
How are you making a decision or caring about how I feel about something if I'm not at the table?
Right.
I think that it's up to us as trans men and trans women to put ourselves at those tables.
Okay.
We're walking around, everyone's walking around, Black Lives Matters. Guess what? Black trans lives matters as well.
Sure. It should be included, but
So,
apparently it's not. I know. Apparently we're not included in that. But everybody's talking about not everybody's talking about the only way for this to be changed is for us to stick together. And we can't stick together if trans people are not included in that equation. It's just impossible. So everybody can run around talking about Black Lives Matter and you doing this, you doing that. But if we're not included, then you ain't doing nothing. You just as bad as the white folks.
right,
Period.
right, right. Yeah, it's a very hard situation to be in.
Yeah.
Uh, Being that we're up in age, we've seen some stuff,
Yeah.
and it's up to us as black men to reach back and teach the younger people.
Mm-hmm.
It's our responsibility. I, I don't know. I'm a little emotional tonight, so it's.
All right. That's all right. We're gonna what? Uh,
Oh, they don't want me on here. Is that what that is?
it's not every week. Yes. Haven't you seen him? I mean, he's not my guest. He's here, he's my sidekick, I guess. I don't know, I like
Yeah,
him to walk on. He
I'm the
can go.
younger. I'm the younger self. I'm the younger person.
Yep. Really? Same age. No, don't listen to him. Do not listen to him. Allison said, "Did we see the trans female?" Yes. Ivana. Yeah. Did I say her name right? I'm so sorry. Miss Dior. Ayana Dior. Yeah, that was disgraceful. Disgraceful. Like, how are you going to expect white folks to give us respect if we're not respecting our own people? Absolutely ridiculous.
I've said it over and over again. Respect comes in three forms: self, earned, and given.
Hmm.
We have to earn respect to get respect to give respect. We
Right.
have to start. We have to start with self.
Yeah.
We have to start with self. I will say this too, and all due respect to my trans sisters, especially here in Ohio.
Hmm.
We rally behind our trans sisters. Can you guys rally behind us as well? We want the support too.
Thank you, Erica. Yes, he's a co-host. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. All right. Well, my guest, the guest today for tea time, uh, I'm sure he's gonna have a lot to say about this, and hopefully he could maybe help us just a little bit. Have some positive words. Like, I try to stay positive, but this one, man, I don't know. I'm trying to find something positive in it. You know, I have been telling people, please stop saying I can't breathe. Please stop saying that. It's just it's a negative thought. Please just change that into we will breathe. Just think about
I think, Nick, we need to all just stop for a minute and just take a breath.
it. Sure.
And sometimes that just helps, just to take one deep breath, and relieve all of that. My take on it, but hey,
Yeah, it works until some dumb, dumb, dumb stupid 5 minutes later. But yeah, I hear you. I,
right.
Yeah. But I couldn't even think of that. I couldn't even pick a topic uh for today. I just couldn't do it. You know. I had one and I was like, there's no way I could come on here and talk about anything else besides this. So I'm gonna bring on Tea Time's guest today. His name is Pastor Aaron Williams.
Good evening.
Hey,
How's it going?
you know, it's going. It is.
Man, it ain't going. It ain't going. It ain't going.
It's something. I don't even know how to explain it. But first, before we just get how you feeling, how you doing, just introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are, what you do.
Absolutely. So my name is Aaron Williams. I am the senior pastor and founder of Living Witness Family Worship Center in Jacksonville, Florida. And let's celebrate 10 years of ministry. Born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida, never lived anywhere else. So the deep, dirty South is my home. The Bible Belt, as we like to refer to it as. I'm a husband. I'm a pastor. I'm a professional. I'm an advocate. And that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Which is a lot. As far as your ministry goes, is it like if you could sum it up in one sentence, like what it's about? How do you teach?
One sentence.
Well, it doesn't have to be one sentence, just a short version.
So we're an affirming ministry that is comprised of unperfect people serving a perfect God, just as we are.
Oh, I like that. Yep.
I like that. I like that.
That is awesome. That was really awesome. That's perfect. When I'm sure people have asked you this, what do you say to people when they say being trans goes against God's teachings or what's in the Bible?
They don't know the Bible.
Yeah. Man, that, even before transitioning, always tell people that when you have a real relationship with God, there's really nothing about it. Like, I don't need to debate the scriptures, because simply put, you either believe that Jesus died on the cross for all who believed, whosoever, or you don't. And if you don't, there's really not a conversation to have. But if you look at the scripture, my favorite scripture is when he talks about nor male nor female.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could go on and on, but I simply just tell people that you develop that relationship with Christ, have it for yourself. There isn't any scripture that can send you to hell. There's no person that has a heaven or a hell to put you in. And so your relationship has to be real. It has to be real. And you got to pick that book up and you got to read it for yourself. Because I can take the same scripture. We can get 5 very well educated pastors to interpret it, and every interpretation will be different. Every interpretation.
Jamal Williams says we are located at 1536 Roger Avenue, Jacksonville, Florida. All right. Got it. Y'all know where to go if y'all in Jacksonville.
I think just because Erica asked where it was. Erica's a part of Trans Midwest Vision here in Ohio. So she's talking about she wants to come visit.
Come on down.
That's awesome. So you recently started your medical transition, correct?
Yeah. August 6th.
August 6th. Oh,
August
recently.
6th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm coming up on a year.
How you feeling?
I feel great, man.
little teenager.
If I can get past the puberty and get married in here, I'll be doing But you know, when I think about transitioning, I often have to remind myself of the no rush challenge. Don't
Right,
rush.
right,
When you get in, like you're like, okay, come on. Why
right.
isn't it working? Why isn't it working? And for me, I don't know my biological father. And so I don't really know what to expect. So I had to teach myself to sit back, Aaron, and enjoy the journey. Like
Right.
it is what it is, and it's gonna come when it's gonna come. And if it don't come, you still have to be Aaron. Bless the Lord. And so I've got that. I don't have, or this isn't this, and I'm really just enjoying becoming Aaron. Really.
That is awesome, man. So, why did you wait until now?
Whew.
Well,
Man,
yeah,
that's a loaded question.
I
I am
know.
43, and I probably knew at the age of between and 20 that I was trans. It was no doubt. And so over the years, I have watched my friends transition, and most of them will tell you we talked about it. I have this one friend, this pain in the butt friend, who initially I was going to get a breast reduction.
Mm.
And he was the first person that called me out, and he said, "So you want to like half transition, bro?" I was like, "Damn." He really called me out because that's what it was. I was trying to see how could I do it without doing it. But when I look at being a Black man in America right now, it's the reason I didn't transition until I was 42 years old.
Okay.
It's a scary thing. And so on top of that, not only am I seen as a Black man, which I had to, that's a whole nother topic of realizing that people see you as a Black man. So when the lady is clenching her purse and locking her door, you're like, well, what's it? Oh,
Oh,
I'm
that's me.
like, you know, that's how people see me.
Yeah.
Um, oh man. So I waited so long. I knew, like I said, for years, but I waited because I was afraid, to be honest. I was afraid of what being a Black man meant in America.
Yeah. Yeah. Stuff like we were just saying. Now you got three strikes. You Black, you're trans, and you're a man. Like,
Yep.
Like I said earlier, Aaron, you go from being the target
Mm-hmm.
to now the threat.
yeah.
Mm.
You know, we are targeted when we lived a life as quote unquote studs or butch
Mm-hmm.
women,
Yep.
gay masculine women. And
Mm-hmm.
now we're trans men and we're targeted
Oh
as
yeah.
men.
Yep. That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. Really sad. Really sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead, Malachi. I know you got some questions, man. Go with it.
So we talked a little about your transition
Mhm.
later in life, and a little on your background. Um, more about family background. Um, were your parents of your transition? Do you have that family support? I know you said you don't have support. You met your biological father, but what about your siblings or your mom?
Okay. So yes. So my stepfather, who is actually since I was 5, as well as my mother, and I have one brother, and all three of them are very, very supportive. I think that was the question. You broke up a little bit, Malachi, but was that the question? Is
Yeah,
what support do I have? Okay.
yeah.
And I've also been married to my beautiful wife, who actually told me I was trans before I ever her. Imagine that. We were probably a year into dating, I imagine. And she said, have you ever thought about transitioning? I'm like, what you talking about? And she was like, you have you ever thought you were trans? I was like, well, yeah. Can't remember what excuse I gave for, not transitioning. But I came up with something good at the time. But yes, my biggest fear in transitioning as far as telling people was telling my mother. We are very, very close. I am her oldest child at the time, the only girl. And so I really didn't know how she would receive it. One of the things my therapist said is that your family goes through mourning. It's like they're mourning your death.
Right.
And so because me and my mother are very close, I just didn't know. And I was probably, and I'm not, most people that know me know, I'm not really afraid of anything. And I was afraid. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. And so I kind of slowly but surely told her, and my wife was absolutely right. My mother has always been one of my biggest supporters, and to this day remains. Now this is obviously very new for her. Does she slip up? Absolutely. When I first began transitioning, I said to her, nothing would change between us. And that was comfort, I believe, for her and me at the time, because it was me trying to give her comfort. And now, as I've transitioned, I kept so it's Aaron Val Williams. Val is a part of my dead name. I kept that as my middle name, one, because it is a male's name in some cultures, and to honor my mother, so that she didn't necessarily have to adjust, so to speak, to calling me Aaron. However, she has done a really good job of trying. Does she go back? Absolutely. I mean, 42 years, you can't expect her to immediately get it, but she has done a lot better than I thought. And so I am so thankful for her putting forth the effort really to get on board. Now, how she talks about me to her friends and all of that, I don't know. I really can't control that in this moment. When her friends reach out to me, if they need to, they address me as Aaron. So, I don't know what more I could ask for from, a bunch of older women.
Right.
So that my dad immediately was just like, I love you, and, used Aaron. So it's interesting how men, even at work, men just got it and did it. Like they didn't have to think twice. They didn't like question it, or like I cannot think of one male who I deal with. I interact with a lot of people, all day long at work or whatever. I can't think of one male who has misgendered me since they knew that I transitioned. So just interesting. I don't know if that has been, I know, I don't know, Malachi, I think you might be you've transitioned the longest. I know Nick is pretty new like me. Was that your experience too, or no?
Not at all. Not at all.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
But I still get misgendered. Like a lot every day. I get misgendered.
Really?
That's true.
For me, because I'm a PK, that with me being a PK came with a different set of other stuff. So I didn't have that family support that you talked about. My mother's a missionary, so I didn't have that family support. So it's good. I love to hear stories like yours where people have support. There are so many people, younger people than us. Like I was telling you, it's up to us as older people to help them along the way, because they don't always have that support. So family, and like I said, I consider Nick my brother. We're brothers not born, but brothers we will die. Chosen family is so much better to me in my eyes, because I don't have that family support. When I joined Trans Saints, I found a group of people who were like-minded people, religious people, who got me and accepted me with open arms. So it's good to hear that you have that support.
Yeah, I mean, your story. I was gonna say that your transitioning story is great. would help a lot of people, that they can see that there's people that are scared to come out. That will help so many people to hear your story and not hear all the horror stories. I mean, mine was easy too. I can't complain. Everybody said it's about time. What you've been waiting for, and my
Mm.
best friend was the one that was like, "Hey, I don't you think you should transition? Like, what are you waiting for?" And I'm like, "What?" So all right.
Yeah.
We had a little fun right now. That was good. Now let's get into uh how are you doing, Pastor Aaron, with all this going on? Yeah.
Well, um, it's interesting because people say, how are you doing? And I say, well, you want to know how I'm really doing, or
Yeah.
you the pastory answer?
No,
The, the
you.
truth is, I'm struggling in a bunch of different ways. Um, I'm struggling at humanity. I can't understand how a law enforcement officer who took an oath to protect people would literally sit on a man's back and or sit on his neck and kill him and think that that's okay, as he cries out for his mother, as he cries out and says he can't breathe. I am even more disappointed in the continued African American community who is protesting and rallying Black Lives Matter and yet say nothing about Black trans lives. We are somehow excluded from that. And so, as I stated, I live in Jacksonville, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with last year, all the Black trans women
Yes.
that were murdered in the city of Jacksonville. And we rallied, and nobody showed up. And when I say nobody, I mean people from outside of the Black trans community. Obviously some GLBT folks showed up, but no one was mad. I haven't seen any heterosexual people talking about Miss Diora. And so I cannot be part of a half fight. So when you decide to include Black trans lives in all Black Lives Matter, they truly all matter, then call me. We can talk. Maybe I can go protest. Maybe I can go march, but I can't march for justice that really don't include me, because you're me. You're saying all Black Lives Matter, but then you're killing me, killing my sisters, and nobody's talking about it. Not even in the Black LGBT community,
Huh?
nobody's talking about it.
Nobody. Yep. Not at all. Nope.
We mad as hell. It's mind boggling to me. It's so disappointing because I have done a lot of work for marriage equality, trans rights, just a lot of work in general. We do a lot of women's rights here, and so I'm showing up, and I'm like, but you aren't showing up for my people. You aren't showing up for us. Nobody's upset about this. Nobody's mad about this. That's really disheartening. That's really disheartening.
Yeah. Very much. It's crazy. Like, yeah, nothing. The lady who got beat up, Tony McDade, and everybody's like, well, he committed a crime. But that has nothing to do with this man still died. He still died. Like,
That's it.
no
That's it.
mention, no mention of him. Nothing at
Nope.
all.
Well, and the papers that did miss. So Tallahassee is very close to Jacksonville, and they actually are doing a rally test or something like that today. I was watching, and so some said, well, Tony had mental health news, and he pointed the gun at the cops. And if you listen to the video, I think he wanted to be killed. Well, guess what? I'm not Tony, and I don't know. But here's what I do know: the fact that you're mentioning his mental health makes it even the more important, because you knew, like, how
You
did
need help.
you, and on top of that, you continuously, every article, you continue to dead name him. You continue to use the wrong pronouns. So in the video that they're talking about, when someone said, well, he referred to himself as a he and a she. Yes, because he was talking about when his mother used to send him to church. So we've got to understand the context of what he was saying to understand that doesn't give you to dead name him and to use the wrong pronouns ever, like ever.
I don't know. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I disagree with it, and honestly, I don't know what to do about it. I really don't. I really don't. I speak up. I speak up and against what people say that I disagree with, but I feel helpless. And, and what do you do with that? You know?
I really feel that LGBT community rally around white LGBT issues.
Mhm.
Um, and when they go to the table, black trans men are always left out. Older black trans, whether they're men or women,
Mm-hmm.
are left out.
That's true.
They put us out in the pastures, and we're not, you know, we don't take care of our own. And we have to stop allowing straight people to make decisions for black trans men.
Mm-hmm.
We have to sit at the tables with the lawmakers and the people making decisions for trans people. Black lives does not matter if trans lives don't matter.
How, how do you how do we get a seat at the table? Um,
Right. That's what I want to
say
know.
that because even in the LGBT community, even in the religious sector of the LGBT, we are always left out. Like, even before I transitioned, I was doing in November, I was doing the Trans Awareness Week. So like, even as a lesbian, people.
We have to start calling them out on their crap.
Mm,
We have to start calling them out, calling a sheep a sheep.
mm, I got no problem with that.
We have to walk the walk and talk the talk. We have to do people like we want them to do us.
Mm,
You hear me? We have
mm,
and we have to stand united. It's one thing for you to say you're doing that in Florida, but if I'm not doing that in Ohio, that's the
mm,
problem.
right, right.
Unity is a function of more than one putting themselves together for one. We have
Mm,
to be united on everything we do.
Well,
mm,
yeah,
There's
yeah.
too many black
I'm
churches,
looking for it.
too many trans men of color for us to sit back and keep allowing these things to happen.
mm. That's good.
I understand everything that's going on, but we and I say me myself too.
Mm,
When all this stuff started happening, they started having rallies, and guess what? We should have had our black tails in Florida,
mm,
and I think we should. Even after we should. This is something that needs to happen because if they don't see us, we have to make them see us. And I'm sorry, I yeah. I'm like I said before, I'm an emotional roller coaster right now.
You good. You good. But that needs to happen, for people to understand how important it is. Question for you, Aaron. Elijah said, Pastor Aaron, what are some of the solutions you can recommend to start the conversation between black trans men and black cis men to include pastors and other leaders?
Hmm. Well, I think that first they have to be willing to come to the table. So we've got to be willing to show up, right? And they have to be willing to come to the table. I think that, and here's what I don't know. I don't know if that has to happen. I'm not sure how to. So I know Pastor Hamilton. He is retired now. Here he is an older black pastor, probably seen some of the worst times when it comes to racial segregation, but definitely a true ally. And when I say an ally, I mean he shows up. Him and his wife are pastors. They show up. So getting someone like him to come to the table is easy. I actually have a young cis white male pastor who basically what's the word I want to say, it a relationship and friendship between me and him, but he's white. I mean, was gonna have me come preach at his church. I mean, just unheard of. I don't really know, Dr. Elijah, how to bring trans men and cis black men, particularly of religion, to be honest with you. It would probably be easier, unfortunately, to get men that weren't of the cloth to come talk to trans men before we could ever get men of the cloth. Hey, I'm open to ideas because
We have to prepare the table.
if you build it, they will come.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take. It's not going to be easy, whatever it is. That's for sure.
No,
I mean, as you see, we
But guess
can't even
what?
stick together.
It's going to start with us.
Of course.
It has to start with us. We cannot expect anybody to do anything for us if we're not doing those things.
Well, we starting it right now. We're here together talking about it.
Exactly.
We're starting something. Onyx asked, how can we support you guys? It's to me, it's no different than what we asking of the white people. It's the same thing.
mm-hmm.
Respect. Be there for us. Stand up for us. Speak out for us. We are the unprivileged. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And by you guys being on the show, showing your support, that's a start right there. You listening, understanding, gaining more knowledge, all that stuff helps. Y'all can add on. That was just my opinion.
Reach out to a trans person. How you doing today? What's up? And you don't have to say how you doing. Hello, I love you. I see you.
That's interesting because I have probably had more of my white counterparts. No, ain't no kind of. More of my white counterparts,
Yep.
straight and cis, straight, have reached out to ask me what far more than any of my African American friends. If it's because they don't see, they haven't seen or realized that I'm now a black man and I'm included in that, or I don't know. I don't know. But why is it that my inbox is flooded with white men, both straight, trans white men, checking on me to see how I'm doing when and not my black friends or counterparts? So I agree with you, Mel. Like just checking in, particularly for those people who don't have a support system. When I was listening to Tony's video, I literally got emotional because I thought, man, if I had knew him before, and I only know him because he died, right? Because he got killed.
Right.
So how many others of us are out there
That need help.
silence?
He was crying out for help. He just needed
That's
somebody.
exactly what he was doing.
He needed somebody to listen to him, and I promise you, his story would have been different.
Absolutely.
Do you remember when you first started medically transitioning and how the roller coaster it was? He was going through those things, didn't have those people, and I'm just thinking, I don't know. I take that back. I don't know. But I can
Right.
just imagine, those first few months when I decided, hey, you know what? I'm gonna stop living in the closet. This is who I am.
Mhm.
You know, did I have that support? Do we are we all supporting each other?
Mm,
Um, I was, like I said, everybody knows I was in a Greek lettered organization for 10
Mm,
years. For 10 years.
mm,
And people knew me. And those same people who I broke bread with no longer accepted me. And that hurt because I was that caterpillar when I knew them, but I'm a butterfly now. But they don't understand I'm still that same person on the inside.
mm,
And it hurts when you don't have that support. You don't have somebody to talk to. You
mhm,
don't feel like you want to hang out with lesbians anymore.
mm,
You know,
mm,
or your stud friends don't understand. We're not the same. Like, no,
mm.
don't use me to get into bars, you know, because you can get in free. I can't. You know,
But now, Mel, you saying bars, you really mean the titty bars.
it don't matter. Yeah, it don't matter.
Okay, you can say it.
Princess, take cloud five right now. Get in the bar, but you know what I'm saying? It hurts. It
mm,
hurts because we're isolated now. A lot of people ask me, why do I do tea time? Why do I do all these other social media things? It's to show younger people that, guess what? If you don't have anybody else, you have Malachi Carroll.
Mm, that's
You
good.
have me. You can call me at any time.
That's good.
My wife might get mad when you call a little late, but it's okay. I can deal with that. I'd rather be there for somebody than see another black innocent man die,
yeah,
whether it's by death of a policeman or or suicide.
yeah, yeah. Man, that's why I started two time to educate people on trans men and also to show trans men that might be struggling that we're here. We got you. We got your back. Is anything you need? We're here for you. If we can't figure it out, we will find somebody who will. We're
Mm,
here. And I just want people to understand that trans men are good people. You know,
We're
uh,
we're the most handsomest people walking the planet.
that's right. That's right.
behind self. That's true,
I'm just keeping it real, you know.
no doubt, definitely true. Um, in response to your answer, Pastor Aaron, Dr. Elijah said, "Thank you. Um, perhaps a perhaps a step is to start the conversation with other trans men. Yeah, definitely. Once we are in solidarity, we can present solutions. Definitely, it's a great segment. Thank you. Um,
Absolutely.
I definitely agree with that because you can't do anything until we stick together.
That's
Nothing
right.
is going to happen. Nothing, and it's a problem in the black trans community. We are not together at all. It's really sad. Really sad.
But is that a black trans issue? Because do black people stick together anyway?
No, I mean it's just a
Oh, I'm
fact.
sorry. You know,
Yeah, just a
Yeah.
fact. It's terrible.
we
It's
have to
really.
be, we have to be the change that we want to see in others.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Definitely, definitely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hmm.
It's a lot. All right.
It is.
Onyx
It is.
loves us. We love you too, Onyx.
We love you, Onyx. I'm still trying to get my story out. I'm still
She's
trying to get
waiting.
that book.
She said she's waiting. She's waiting on you. Oh man. Y'all have anything you want to add? Anybody have any questions? Any comments? Y'all can put in everybody. Everybody already knows. You can put them in the comments and ask. Malachi, you have something to say? You always got something to add.
You know what I add every day,
Yep, go ahead with it. Every
every every episode.
there's new people up in here. There's different people up in here, so they haven't heard
Yeah.
it.
If you don't hear nothing else I say, or you don't remember my name at all,
Don't
just remember
worry.
this. Just remember this one thing. I want every trans man and masculine identified women make sure they get their pap smears and mammograms. There are so many cancers and STIs that are killing our people because we're not getting tested early enough.
Yeah.
That's I'm emotional, so I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Um, I think there's guys feel like it's a woman thing. They feel they're embarrassed. It's uncomfortable, but your life could depend on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's scary.
And to the trans women, if you if you have had top surgery, you have breasts, please women, make sure you're getting taken care of.
Mhm.
Please make sure you guys are getting taken care of. You know that there's prep out there to prevent HIV for both. It's not. um Truvada is approved for both trans men and trans women, but uh no, the Descovy is not approved for people born assigned female at birth. However, PrEP will prevent you from getting HIV. It's a one-time pill that you can take to prevent yourself from getting HIV. And in some states, and I know here in Ohio, if you call me, I can show you how to get it for free. No doc. It's just so important that we know these things. No, take care of our health. Like I said in the beginning, if we don't start with us, I'm out every day doing HIV testing to my white counterparts. But if
Mhm.
I'm not starting in the black community, what am I doing? What am I doing?
Well, Onyx said, "Thank you for mentioning this." Yes, he mentions it at the end of every show. So it's important. It's what Malachi does.
Yeah, I have to. I have to because if I don't, who will?
Got you. Georgette said, "Thank you for being so patient with us. I am always trying to find ways to serve. I will now govern myself accordingly." I appreciate that. That's awesome. That's beautiful.
We have to remember that even when we don't think anybody is watching us, somebody is.
Yeah, definitely. You never know. Uh, Jasmine said she doesn't think that black trans women go get mammograms, and that's coming from a black trans woman.
Mm,
Hmm. Well,
yeah.
spread the word that they
Yep.
should. It's
Yeah.
important.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. This has been an emotional show, man.
Believe it or not, it's been a therapeutic show.
It's
Not
been
only for myself, but I'm
yeah,
sure people that are watching.
yeah, definitely. You know, and yeah, this is definitely another great show. Every show is great, but for different reasons, and this is great. It was great to, you know, actually get out and talk to other people who understand what's going on and feeling the same thing and talk about it and get it off my chest. I'm sure that's what everybody's feeling right now. So this was great.
Absolutely.
Pastor Aaron, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. This was awesome, and we got to continue this dialogue. We got to get together offline and talk about some things and just see how we can collaborate, because maybe it starts with us.
I think it does. I think that's what God is saying. Like, I believe everything happens for a reason and not just some little tiny reason, for big reasons. So this is just the beginning. Yo,
Absolutely.
real talk. Love all of you. Love all of y'all. Say it back, darn it.
Okay, I love you.
Absolutely, man. Love you. Appreciate you. Hey, you guys take care of yourself. Be safe.
Pastor, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Y'all like my shirt? The
I
new
like.
shirt.
I
Oh, yeah,
want
that's
one of those
nice.
shirts. Where's
The
mine? If I'm a co-host, why I don't have one?
Oh, here we go. I just got it today. Calm down. Calm down. Shoot. Always calling me out, man. Always
Well,
Hey,
calling.
see,
that's
see,
that's
for
what a
me,
real brother do. Call you out on your crap.
Right. Always
If I
tripping on
didn't
me,
do
man.
that, it'd be a problem.
All right, we gotta go. All right, everybody. That's the end of our show. Thank you for joining us on Tea Time. We'll see you next week at 8 o'clock with some more knowledge and fun and silliness from Malachi.
I'm not gonna be silly next week, guys. I'm gonna be very different.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. You heard it. Everybody have a good night. Please stay safe. Please
Peace and love.
love on your people. Good night.